Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Debs. Today we are going to talk about a lawsuit against the owners of Unruly Agency, or at least a lawsuit. Today I want to kind of focus on the lawsuit from the ex-employees, just to kind of build a foundation of what's going on. There's, from what I understand, about 9 lawsuits against them, and it's kind of like a new thing, Onlyfans agency anyway, so I think maybe we need to learn what this is and what they do, or at least I feel like I do. And that way once we know that, it would be easier to know exactly what is going on in the lawsuits of, ex-clients or other influencers that sue them. So I think a good place to start is I found this video from other sex workers, and they kind of explain what these kind of management companies do and why it's not good. So maybe we can start there so we can learn together. All right, 1 second.
First, go for it.
I have way more advice for girls that are doing the same thing as she's doing, which is when you get to a point, hopefully you started your OnlyFans because you wanted to, first of all, and not because a management company reached out to you and said, we can take you to the next level and make you $50,000 the first month, which and the only reason I really found out about this type of job was because my sister worked for a huge OnlyFans agency. You need to find someone like me instead of going to a management company. Or you need to sign with a management company who doesn't use a contract, doesn't use any contracts. You're not locked in. You need to hire someone that you are willing to meet and talk to and text every day before you go to a management company. The only thing a management company will do is maybe post you on their huge Instagram, but it's probably a lot of fake followers, and you probably won't get on their Instagram the first time.
And what a management company does is literally girls take their nudes, take their content, upload it to a Google Drive, and that's it. That's the whole control they have of their whole brand. They post everything for them. They make all the captions. They message all of their fans. And that's terrifying, one. And so many girls have so much anxiety. A lot of them don't have confidence in themselves. When this job is not, I could have done it and not even hired her.
No.
I could have done it completely alone and made good money. I just recognized if there was 2 people, I could make a lot more money.
Sure.
But they have no control over their brand. And what also ends up happening is you can tell that it's basically a bot. It's dirty talk learned off of a how-to on Google, and it's it's fake, and it ruins your connection with your fans. They don't know who you are anymore. It's all bot-like, and it definitely gives girls anxiety and no control over their brand or their career.
She can log me out of the OnlyFans anytime she wants to, and that's the way I want it. And that's the way that you should have your relationship with your manager or your partner, whoever. You should never be in a position as a creator where your management team can lock you out of your own OnlyFans, where their bank information is in your OnlyFans and they pay you out a paycheck. Yeah. That should never ever be the case. And if you're in a situation like that, please get out and try to find a friend or someone to be your assistant first.
Okay, so I guess
the new era of business is...
Whoops, okay. So I guess essentially what they're saying is, according to them, what a management company does is they control their brand and they do everything for you. And of course you are the talent, you're the subject of the content. But other than that, they are posting as you and for you. So I think I'm kind of beginning to understand here. So let's see. Let's move on, I guess, for now. I'm trying to think here. Okay, so this was a post on Reddit, and it has kind of a timeline, which we can kind of go through and delve deeper on this. So that is kind of the accusations that at least what the former employees are saying about Unruly Agency. And Tana Mongeau created her own agency called Tana's Angels within the umbrella of Unruly Agency. So I'm gonna probably include her in the title, whatever. However, just as a disclaimer, I'm not entirely sure what her present day connection is, or at all, but I do know that she had a sub agency, and so I'm curious to know if she's still involved, as I have a feeling this is gonna eventually blow up, at least brought to the forefront of things. Okay. So let's read this together. So this is on Reddit. So this person says, I was watching Just Trish and found this section of the podcast with Tana around 3950, which talks about the agency and Tana's angels in detail last year. She said, I was with and am with and have always been with Unruly Agency, and the CEO, Tara, is one of my best friends. I've known her. I was there when she said she wanted to start an agency, and now it's like the #1 earning Onlyfans agency, and so I've been with her since the absolute literal jump and have known her for years before that. So she really has my best interests in mind, and she's been there through every manager. She's helped me through every blip in my businesses. She's smart as fuck. I love a girl boss. Her and her own sister own and run the agency, so it's the sickest thing to see. She eventually helped me start my own agency with unruly employees that she already had trusted and vetted for years. So I mean, we've both been fucked over so hard money-wise by people, men especially. So I love to be able to sign someone, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, where's the pudding? I don't see no pudding or proof. They're very kind of guarded. I mean, they talk about it, but they don't really talk about what they do. It's a lot of word salad, which some might say I do myself. So Tana was very clearly involved in the company at a serious capacity. And then the month before, July 2023, she talked about Tana's Angels with John Yushai on a podcast, where he asked her a question about how she makes her money, because she lists AdSense as one of her smallest streams of income. She answered, I make money off of, obviously, everyone knows, in every financial interview we discuss paywall platforms such as Onlyfans. I have an agency under Onlyfans where I sign people and I manage them, and I bring them to the correct managers to help them and do the stuff like that, and it's an awesome source of revenue. So, what... Okay, I don't understand. So, you sign people and then you bring them to someone else to manage them, but I don't know. So you're being a middleman. I don't know exactly what that entails. Okay, so which essentially means that she makes or made money off of recruiting these girls, and it's super profitable. Based on what I had read about Unruly, I was uncomfortable. I dug deeper into it to see if Tana's hands are clean, as this post kind of implied that they could be, and her involvement along the timing of controversies. So I made a timeline. Okay. Alright, 2019 April, Tana signs to Unruly. April 25th, 2021, Tana announces Tana's Angels on Insta. As mentioned, website is dead, and found that it was definitely active during launch week. July 26, 2021, the Daily Beasts drops an article about virtual pimping. They don't mention Tana's Angels, but it does state that they reached out to Tana for comment. Interesting. So it sounds like there's been kind of some murmurs for a while here. Okay, so July 28th, 2021, Business Insider releases an article about another lawsuit filed against Unruly, this time for coercion, control, humiliation, and abuse. Interesting. So 2 days later, they released that article about the lawsuit. And then 2 days prior, they released an article about virtual pimping, and they reached out to Tana for comment. So, obviously, they're not at least formally mentioning it, but whether they know something or not, since it was 2 days apart, I would not be surprised if they either think there's a connection or they know of a connection. Of course, it's not the same company, but the timeline is very close. And of course, these kind of publications or whatever probably have connections in the industry and know things that we don't. Or they might just be making things up. Who knows? And then August 26, 2021, another article dropped about a lawsuit filed against Unruly, this time for revenge porn. And then December 16th, 2021, BuzzFeed drops article about exploitive practices under Unruly. March 15th, 2022, Rolling Stone drops an article about 2 lawsuits against Unruly regarding sharing photos without consent. And then Business Insider drops an article about 3 more lawsuits against the company for allegedly editing out a user's underwear. Ooh, yikes. That's messed up. Okay. And then, let's see, the August 22, 2022, last available screen cap of Tana's Angels website that actually has something on it. So that's the last time that it was at least active on the internet per this thing. But I wonder, does it mean that it's just kind of because she did speak about it after that. So it is possible that it's just kind of operating on the down low, and maybe she's kind of focusing on just getting like existing influencers, which kind of add up to how she reached out to Alyssa Violet several times. So maybe I do notice a sense of like an influencer culture, like a lot of the pre-existing influencers are kind of like, not to say flopping, I mean they're definitely have way more than most of us, and certainly me, but they don't have the same pull as they used to. So it could be that maybe she's targeting those kind of influencers to say like, you're not making as much money as you used to, I have a solution, or something like that. Let's see, because certainly I'm sure they got accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and maybe if their views are going down, I know YouTube in general isn't as popping as it was. Most people used to get like 2 to 5 million views before, aren't getting 1 million views at all. And YouTube has always been kind of like not that great at money, I believe. So of course if you're popping off like 5 million or something, I'm sure it's good, but I don't know, especially with in general less views, I doubt it's generating as much income as before. So let's see, March 27th, 2023, Tana talks about recruiting for Tana's Angels on Jeff FM podcast around the 4-minute mark. I wonder if we should just try and like, let's see, does it open to the timestamp version? Because that would be pretty cool.
I think you're on Hinge. Someone sent me a screenshot.
That's a fake profile, obviously. It says 24 years old.
No, it does not. I don't know. Maybe this... Sorry about that. I think I might just delay things if I have to like search and find the spot. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, so after it was gone offline, she was still talking about it, so still recruiting after it was off the website, which would kind of back up what I was saying. It must be operating kind of like in the dark, or like on the down low. July 9th, 2023, or sorry, just to clarify, that's my opinion, allegedly. July 9th, 2023, Tana talks about Tana's Angels with John Yoshai in a podcast where he asks her a question about how she makes her money because she lists AdSense as one of her sole streams of income, which I think they already mentioned. July 31st, 2023, Tana playfully tries to recruit someone on Sideman's link here, which actually I was going to play. I don't know if I'm guessing it's this same one. I could be wrong, but anyways, that's what she's doing here. Let's play it. One moment, please.
Have you ever thought about doing OnlyFans?
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious about what that would be like.
Oh,
I never gave it into a thought to doing it. Like
Georgie Porky. Well, I do OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I have an OnlyFans agency called Tana's Angels Agency.
Oh, nice.
TAA.
Cool.
And I'm looking to recruit some people.
Yeah, so that may or may not be the same one, but yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay. August 31st, 2023. So she was talking to Tana's Angels, as linked earlier. And then, let's see, October 23, 2023. Okay, which, that is a previous influencer, which right now I want to focus on the ex-employees. And March 28th, 2024, Business Insider drops another article about them being hit with 9 lawsuits. I think this article is in a payload. Yeah, fuck that. Okay, and then June 24, 2024, LA Weekly announces an article that Unruly Agency has settled 3 out of 4 cases against them, with the 4th being dropped. Let's see. In a resounding victory, Unruly Agency successfully navigated and has overcome a series of lawsuits initiated by Robert Taylor of Taylor Smith, securing settlements. I'm sorry, but a settlement is not overcoming. That's a settlement. So it's already giving kind of like a PR tactic. It says the lawsuits filed under the pseudonym of Jane Doe have all been resolved favorably for Unruly Agency, demonstrating their legal acumen and strategic expertise. So which one is it? Did you win, or was it a settlement? And oddly enough, what's her name? Tara, one of the owners, she was in an interview and she was using that same kind of rhetoric. It's an ongoing case. We're working on settling. We will win. I'm sorry, but a settlement is not a win. It's almost like it's not a win, that's for sure. It's like you pay them a certain amount, and rather than it going to trial and it costing more. But it's by no means is it a win. If anything, it's almost like you know that they will be successful in trial, and also should it go to trial, it will go public. Like the evidence that they have will be presented in a court, and then it will most likely become public knowledge. So you're paying them out a certain amount so that it doesn't get to that point. So it's almost like a hush money in a way, because if there was no leg to stand on, you would oftentimes just let it go there, and then you would probably have to pay zero, and even could get costs from the other side for, like, you know, bringing this to the court and like lying or wasting the court's time. Usually that's what would happen. So in terms of people settling, it's usually, you know, that they do in fact have a leg to stand on, and you're thinking like the costs of paying them out plus the cost of lawyers plus this, it's like in your best interest to pay them to avoid the trial is very expensive, lawyers are very expensive, and also the awards are very expensive. So you probably, in the long run, if they do in fact have a leg to stand on, you will save money by settling oftentimes. But by no means is that a win. It's almost like a form of self-preservation, if anything. Let's see. The series of swift resolutions not only underscores the meritless nature of these allegations. Okay, I'm sorry, but why are you hyping them up so much? It's giving planted article. Oh my god. Wow. The series of swift resolutions not only underscores the meritless nature of the allegations, but also highlights the strategic effectiveness of Unruly Agency's legal team. By securing $0 settlements proposed by the plaintiffs themselves. I'm not buying that. I never in a million years heard of a plaintiff proposing to a defense counsel. The plaintiff is the one who is suing the other person, okay? I have never in a million years heard of them making a settlement offer for $0. Ever. Like, what? Settlement is like, if anything, they would just drop the case. Why would they ask them for permission to settle on for $0? They would simply just drop the case. That's it. So I'm not buying this $0 settlement. I would not be surprised if it, I mean, and of course this is my opinion, allegedly, I would not be surprised if there was a settlement, but, and oftentimes this is the case within a settlement, there's an NDA of some kind. I would not be surprised if that was a part of the settlement offer where they couldn't talk about it, or they would, because if it was done under Jane Doe, maybe they would even be okay with this. Like, maybe they came to an arrangement or agreement about this. If it's Jane Doe, it wouldn't affect them anyway. But I would not be surprised, because I have never, it just does not make sense. If they want to drop the case, they don't want to move forward with it, they don't want any money or whatever, the plaintiff would just end the case. They have the power to do that. They do not need the defendant's permission to do that. And especially on the basis of just $0. So the math ain't mathin'. Unruly Agency has demonstrated an exemplary approach to litigation, prioritizing both efficiency and integrity. They're really up this Unruly Agency's ass, huh? With these legal matters now firmly behind them, Unruly Agency is poised to redirect its focus towards its core objectives: sustaining growth, increasing profitability, and delivering unparalleled service to their clients. Wow, this is really ass-kissing. Ability to swiftly and effectively address these legal challenges reinforces Unruly's reputation as a resilient and client-centric organization. Looking ahead, Unruly Agency is embarking on an ambitious expansion of its marketing and managing capabilities across multiple platforms, including Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. This initiative aims to promote emerging and gifted creators, helping them gain recognition, while also creating new monetization opportunities. By leveraging these popular mediums, Unruly Agency plans to amplify its reach and impact, driving growth and innovation within the industry. Oh my god, I'm not buying this article at all. It's blowing smoke up their ass so hard. It's like every second word is just like, it's tremendous, it's exemplary, it's like, I'm not buying it at all. As one of the first and biggest companies to represent emerging content creators, Unruly Agency holds a unique prestige. Their pioneering efforts have paved the way for countless talented individuals to shine, making them a beacon of opportunity and support in the digital age. Oh my god, who wrote this? It's like, I hate it when people write like this, where it's like every second word is so unnecessary. It's just doing way too much. This is not like a thesis, okay? Chill out. Okay. Although a spokesperson for Unruly Agency was unavailable for comment, their legal representative, Armand J. Jafari of Grand Park Law Group, conveyed the agency's satisfaction with the outcomes. We understand that as a leader in a new and emerging industry, it often comes with the consequence of carrying a big target on your back. However, we are very pleased with the resolution of these cases. Unruly Agency is incredibly grateful to the unwavering support from their fans, clients, and supporters throughout this process. This legal triumph, oh my god, please, be so fucking for real. This legal triumph allows Unruly Agency to move forward with renewed vigor and focus. The successful navigation of these lawsuits stands as a testament to their resilience, strategic insight, and unwavering commitment to excellence. Oh my god. As they continue to grow and serve their clients, Unruly Agency's recent legal victories will undoubtedly bolster their standing and credibility within the industry. The next chapter for Unruly Agency promises exciting developments, with plans to expand their influence and support for up-and-coming creators against diverse digital platforms, empowering a new generation of influencers and digital stars. Yeah. Oh, this came out June 24th, 2024. Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying that. Way too much smoke up the ass. Okay. Hold on, where were we? Okay. And then the June 24th, 2024. Okay, wait. So yeah, that was the most recent. Where are we? Okay. And then Alyssa Gate. I'm not gonna go. Okay. And then on this, July 17th, 2024, on Canceled Podcast, Tana responds to Alyssa's dig at her, saying she sells her whole by recounting the story of a coked up Alyssa a month prior. Did she say a month prior? I can't remember, but I don't remember if she said a timeline, but she said asking her to start an OnlyFans. July 12th, 2024, while recording canceled podcast, Tana, Paige, and Brooke talk about how Alyssa is teasing a video drop, and Tana talks about how Alyssa would do anything to take her down. I said this in the last, maybe on Patreon, where I got warned by so many people that like she would do anything to take me down. Brooke interjects with antidote. Okay, I just have like spent so much of my life with like allegations against me that like aren't true or it, and I'm scared that this is where this is going with her, and I'm going to have so much anxiety, like protect myself, and like I'm not scared of her, like I'm scared of having to deal with someone doing that. I'm going to be having a panic attack over there for $10 a month. Okay. July 26, 24, canceled podcast drops. And then August 18th, 2024, Alyssa posts her video calling Tana a liar because she had previously tried to recruit Alyssa. And here's a screenshot. I had mentioned it in my previous video, but I don't believe. Here, this is the... Wow, okay. Anyways, you can kind of get the gist. The blues, Alyssa Violet, and the white messages are Tana, which is reaching out to Alyssa Violet, essentially trying to recruit her into joining OnlyFans. So, take with that what you will. And then... Okay. TLDR. What does that mean? I'm not quite sure. Okay. Tana is intertwined with Unruly Agency as talent, as well as having started Tana's Angels underneath them, using their employees, etc., and it formed what seems to be a big part of her revenue stream. Unruly Agency has several lawsuits against them from 2021 after TAA was formed, until June of this year for scamming, sharing unsolicited nudes, revenge porn, and more. It has been compared to a virtual pimping agency. They have a strong enough lawyer team that all charges have been dropped. I'm going to research that more, but from what I heard, there was 9, and at least in that, what was it called? In that article, it referred to 4 of them, so I will delve deeper into that later. No documented proof of TAA still existing, and the last time she spoke about it was in August of last year, and she's still signed to Unruly. So that's kind of what I had mentioned. I'm not sure about that, but that's kind of what we're trying to figure out, essentially. What is her involvement? Final thoughts, personal opinion. Tana needs to address this ASAP because it's fucked up and antithetical. Her brand of women's empowerment to be influencing these girls to join an agency that takes advantage of them both sexually and financially. And, yeah. So, next is we're going to kind of go into this. So, deep dive on Tana. Is Tana dabbling in virtual pimping with Tana's Angels Agency? And everything in this post is alleged, my own personal view or viewpoint based on public information. Let's see. So, April 25th, 2021, Tana announced she's starting her very own agency called Tana's Angels in collaboration, and she's currently signed to them. And she states she's introducing TAA as a way to give power back to creators, and months it took to perfect this, and finally it's here. And here's the link to the announcement. Is it still up? Yeah. Okay. So the post is still up with the announcement. And then July 30th, 2023, she was featured. Oh, yeah. We already watched that Do You Fuck video. Oh, cringe. Okay. March 21 to 24, 2024. Unruly currently has 9 lawsuits against them from influencers they have signed. Okay, so I want to kind of still try to focus on the business aspect or kind of just getting an understanding of this, but I will circle back to that later. So, it's a seemingly sweet deal. In exchange for paying the agency percentage of their earnings, creator would be relieved of the burden of keeping up with the hectic posting schedule, benefit from heavy marketing, and watch their fan base expand. However, many influencers are saying that they specified in their contracts they didn't want to show full nudity or want it to be edited out in the photos. Okay, so skipping ahead because that's part of the circle back. It says these guys are basically pimps. Okay. I'm just going to keep going. Alright. Is this... I think this is the one that's under a paywall, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Let's try the Rolling Stone article here. Okay, this is based on the creators. Okay. Well, maybe we should just skip ahead to the actual court case. So this is a complaint, I guess, from Elizabeth Macabelli Jane Doe and the plaintiffs against the Unruly Agency, Tara Nijad, which is who Tana had mentioned that she created her TAA with, and individual. And who's an individual? So there are some individuals that are maybe named on the down low or something, but we can look into that. Okay. So essentially what their complaint, and these are the former employees: wage theft, failure to pay minimum wage theft, failure to pay overtime compensation, and failure to reimburse for necessary expenditures, violation of labor code, waiting time penalties, unfair competition, in violation of California Business and Professions Code, violation of California Labor Code, discrimination based on medical condition, in violation of the Fair Employment and Housing Act, wrongful termination in violation of public policy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress. So these are what the former employees are saying. So what we can do is kind of read the introduction, which should be almost like a backstory. So, introduction. Dubbed the paywall of porn by the New York Times, Onlyfans.com owns and operates a subscriber-based website. Owned by Timothy Stokely. Oh God, come on. Owned by Timothy Stokely, known as the King of Homemade Porn. It's a pay-to-view website where creators, including models, which are represented by the defendants, post sexually explicit photos, videos, and messages for paying followers or fans. Fans, who number upwards of 50 million, can also direct message and tip to get pictures or videos created on demand according to their sexual tastes. Onlyfans.com is widely used by sex workers and lets creators upload any kind of content, including porn, to the website and lock it behind a paywall. And also, just side note, I think the reason why it blew up was because many websites don't allow you to post porn, except for like obviously porn websites or Pornhub.com. So I think that's kind of like what made it blow up, is that it was kind of like the first kind of website that allowed like Patreon or things. There are those, but they do not allow porn, at least from my understanding. So this was kind of the first of its kind, from at least that's what I remember it as, and that's kind of why it's kind of changed the industry. It says Onlyfans.com profits by taking approximately 20% commission on all money made through the website. Between 2019 and 2020, Onlyfans made $390 million in revenue and nearly $74 million in pre-tax profits. To generate content, Onlyfans.com is heavily reliant on defendant Unruly Agency, which represents scores of the models who sell content on Onlyfans.com. That's OnlyFans. That's a little odd to me, because OnlyFans, to my understanding, is just like the website. I don't think that they necessarily have a need to generate the content. I think they're just like a space for the content creators to share it, and then they also take a cut. At least that's what I thought. But who knows? Maybe they do have a direct connection with them in that matter, but I guess we'll find out, including many others. So they're saying Lil Pump has OnlyFans. Does that mean that they work with Unruly or that they are just on OnlyFans? I don't know. Anyways, Lil Pump with 16.2 million Instagram followers, and a Cherry 12.5 million Instagram followers. Tana Mongeau with 5.7 million. Daisy Keach 5.7. I don't know. I guess who cares how many? Kristen Hancher, Charlie Jordan, Sierra Sky, Kinsey Wolanski, Harry Jowsey, Erica Costell, Tina Louise, Abby Rao, Kylie Ray Hall, and many more. Oh, okay, so they allegedly are part of the Unruly Agency. While defendant Unruly Agency, which is owned by defendant Nick Najad and defendant Gathright, claims to be a full-scale agency that specializes in social media management, influencer marketing, content creation, and much more, and boasts that they are shaking up the industry and employ over 400 people. Defendants have been described in a recently filed lawsuit as modern-day pimps. Indeed, despite their self-congratulatory claims, defendants Unruly Agency earn their revenue by preying upon and defrauding the fans of their models into paying for a subscription on Onlyfans.com so the fans can access content from and communicate with the Unruly Agency's models, who in turn defendant Unruly Agency is said to threaten with humiliation and financial ruin if the models ever choose to leave the defendant's complete control. This fraudulent scheme is perpetuated by the defendants in two ways. First, the defendants falsely represent to the fans that they are communicating directly and personally with the models, when in fact the fans are not actually communicating with the models at all. Instead, the fans are merely communicating with account managers and senior account managers who are employed by the defendants, who pretend to be the models. Indeed, as a part of their job duties, the defendants specifically require their account managers and senior account managers, like Miss Macabelli, Miss Doe, and other similarly situated employees, to intentionally lie to, dupe, and mislead fans into misbelieving that the fans are paying to have 1. Direct personal communications and interactions with defendants' models. In actuality, the fans are not communicating or interacting with the model at all. Rather, the fans are merely communicating and interacting with account managers and senior account managers, who are directed by defendants to pretend to be the models and to provide the full fantasy girlfriend experience to paying fans. Models personally create and provide the fans with content exclusively designed for the fan. In actuality, the account managers and senior account managers who pretend to be the models are repurposing generic content previously created by the models. Second, once the fans are hooked and duped into believing that they are communicating with and or having a relationship with the models, who are supposedly sending them exclusive content, the account managers, again, who are pretending to be the models, are constantly pressured by defendants to upsell the fans into buying more content from the models, specifically targeting certain high-paying fans and otherwise deceiving the fans in any way necessary to make a profit. The more that defendants' account managers can upsell the fans, the more that the defendants, which is the agency, the owners, can profit. And I hypothetically also the influencer as well, but yeah, the more money to be had. And I think that in OnlyFans, that's kind of one thing that set it apart, was the ability for the fan to message you, and they can request things or specific videos, and you can name a price and they can pay you. So I think that is really like the bread maker for it. So maybe that would make sense that that's how they're targeting it. but it is, at least in my opinion, it's a form of fraud, because they think that they're talking to the influencer or model or whatever, and really it's just someone pretending to be them, which it's, in my opinion, fraud. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but shady nonetheless. It says, for instance, if defendants' account managers are informed by a fan that the fan liked a certain part of the model's body, they directed the employees to send fans a photo or a video of that model's body as a higher priced, locked message, to which the fan can only access if they pay a specific fee. These messages served two equally insidious purposes. A, to lure the fans into paying for the locked photo and or video, and B, to induce the fan to tip the model to obtain additional content and other services. So this is kind of like a screenshot of the conversations that they would have. Imagine being like one of the people, because I think it even tags them. Imagine like you didn't want your pictures to go public like that. It says the defendant's bait and switch is so calculated that defendants provide word-for-word directions for how to mislead fans, including, among other things, how to talk like them, and to make sure to word every post as if it is written to one person to make it feel more personal, like, hey love, hey you, babe, cutie, hun. When chatting with fans, write things like, I want to show you something, I have something for you, are you ready, my booty... Anyways, according to defendant's direction, the employees offer similarly... Accordingly, at defendant's direction, Miss Machiavelli, Miss Doe, and other similarly situated employees of defendants would often send identical locked videos or photos to thousands and thousands of fans. Oh, shit, I didn't know that. So, so if that is true, then say, if you're sitting on, like, a picture or whatever, then could you just, like mass send it to every single... I thought it was maybe, like, one by one, but if you can mass send it to everyone, like, pay X amount of this to access, like... I wonder how often they would do that. I don't know, that's crazy. But they would word their message specifically so as that deceive that fan into believing it is made only for them. Happy Friday, boo. How was your day? Just took these pics and wanted to hear what you think. Hee hee. Oh. So in their mind, because they're thinking they're having some kind of like a relationship connection with the person. That's sad. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's mean, I think. I mean, you could argue, well, I don't think there's anything like wrong with sex work, like it's consensual, but I do think that it's wrong to fraud people. Like, I don't know, that I don't judge, but I think that, like, just to lead people on, like, I don't know, I don't like that. It's just morally, I think that is the morally incorrect aspect of it, is you're misrepresenting what's happening completely. It says relying on defendants' misrepresentations and believing that they're communicating directly with the models, the fans divulge their deepest and innermost personal secrets, including sexual fantasies and fetishes, marital problems, suicidal ideations, and other private desires to account managers and senior account managers. Like, one fan lamented the demise of his marriage, provided intimate details of his sexual fantasies to the former employee, believing that she was the model Abby Rao, and continued to send in money on the basis of this deception. And it says, thank you for... Oh, that's so sad. Thank you for being so sweet and kind to me. You make my day brighter every single time we talk. I'm still shocked that you still actually talk to me after I not only admitted but show you that I wear diapers sometimes and enjoy doing so. Sorry. I don't know, man. People are into like the weird things, but I just think that's so wrong. And of course, this is alleged. Who knows? But of course, they have the screenshots. However, you never know until, maybe if it goes to trial and you get like metadata to confirm, blah, blah, blah. I do think that perhaps this employee lawsuit would be the most damning because as an employee, you know the inner workings of a company. So that would be the most damning. And according to the allegations, it seems that they were not paying them properly or enough, as well as making them, have these kinds of intimate conversations, pretending to be someone else, and having to deal with people talking about, suicidal ideations or kinky things or whatever. I think that in a sense, it would make you, whether it's you feel icky about it or just you feel bad because you feel like you're deceiving someone, because who knows, maybe in reality, I don't know if it's like the same person continuously running certain accounts or if it's just you doing all that or how it works, but let's say if it was just you continuously having the same conversations with one client as influencer or whatever, maybe you would start to feel like you are the one developing that relationship with them, and you might start to feel bad, maybe. So there's that aspect as well. So if they were being paid well, maybe that could give them the ability to overlook that. But if you're doing this kind of stuff, pretending to be someone else, and you're not getting paid, they said, according to allegations, even below what minimum wage should be. Meanwhile, you're doing all this work, and the former employees are making like, I don't know, Tana said she made like $1 million in one day off of Onlyfans, so that's not really fair at all. It says, fans would never have disclosed these embarrassing details had they known they were communicating not with the models, but instead with the employees. It says the defendants do not just lie to the fans, however. Indeed, to perpetuate this utter deception of fans who visit Onlyfans.com, the defendants work around the clock, reminding them that they must be consistently checking everyone's account and that this is their full-time job, and binding them to an onerous and illegal non-competition agreement that forbids them from working for anybody else. I have in some senses maybe heard of non-compete clauses. However, if they are not paying you properly, I could see like maybe the need or want to get a second job, but judging from their allegations of having to work 14, 16-hour days, they might not even have the time to get a second job. It says, shockingly, though, the defendants exercise complete and utter control over the employees, and despite the defendant's, Nick Najad's, hypocritical public statements about her purported disdain for business owners just trying to save a buck and on not paying another, and her belief that everything I've done with my company has taken a team. I can't do this alone. I need my team who is here. Defendants intentionally misclassify their account managers as independent contractors, and in doing so steal millions of dollars in unpaid wages from them. Defendants' exploitation is eerily familiar and echoed by the recent lawsuit, which alleges that the defendants operate to facilitate their scheme to manipulate young women for their own pecuniary gain. The defendants' unlawful conduct did not end there. When Miss Machiavelli dared to complain to the defendants not about the fraudulent manner in which they deceived the fans, but also about the defendants' unlawful employment practices, and that they had retained counsel to represent them in their negotiations regarding the defendants' illegal employment practices, defendants swiftly fired them. In a stunning, written smoking gun admission of retaliation, defendants informed them that their legally protected actions constitute a conflict of interest warranting their immediate firing. Truth be told, I think that was probably a bad move on their part, because I feel like maybe the employees, like, just wanted to get the payment that they deserve. Of course, I don't know. Alleged opinion. Whether or not, I don't know. But it sounds like, based on what they were saying, they just wanted to get paid. And maybe there was almost like a bluff in a sense. But because they got fired, it's almost like they drew a line in the sand. And now those previous employees, if I were them anyway, I'd be like, oh, you're going down now, bitch. At least that's how I would feel. Because a lot of times at a job, you don't want to speak out because you don't want to get fired or whatever. But if they fire you, now you have nothing to lose. Which actually can be a position of quite a bit of power, because what are they going to do to you at that point? You got nothing to lose. So, and also you have, resentment, and you already had the previous intention of, taking it to court. So I'm sure they probably started to build evidence, which, based on the pictures included, they did. So that was probably not a wise move on their part. I mean, unless their claims are, full of shit. However, there are actually photos, there, which, as a legal person, you always want to say allegedly until, the fat lady sings, meaning like the settlement, the verdict is reached or whatever. But yeah, it's not looking good. So jurisdiction, we don't really care about that. Parties, whatever. The main thing, we don't need to get into the nitty gritty, I guess. It's just like former employees versus the company, really. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Do we care? Okay. Do we care about this? Let's see. So, on or about 2020. Trying to think if this is how nitty gritty do we want to get here into this? Okay, so the defendants who have been described by a recent lawsuit as modern day pimps created a mirage where they falsely promised the previous employees $10,000 checks, lavish trips, and huge accounts if they worked long hours. And they similarly situated employees that as their primary job duties, they were required to create, post, and chat on behalf of the models to their fans of them on Onlyfans. Defendants informed the employees to provide the full fantasy girlfriend experience. They were required to intentionally mislead fans who visited Onlyfans.com so that fans would falsely believe they were paying for direct interaction with defendants' models when they were merely communicating with the employee or others. Including to defendants, deception included, among other things, learning how the models like to talk, make sure that they yada yada yada. We already went through that. Indeed. Deceiving, manipulating. Well, we went through that. Okay. It said defendants were told to deceive, manipulate fans, sending them random videos and photos to, pretend they were created by the models. In fact, they were like mass sent to numerous fans. It says, have your models upload random personal videos of them at lunch, running errands, etc., so you can send out as mass messages free as convo starters that seem personal. Always make mass messages seem direct, even though they are to everyone. Use things like hey babe or hey love instead. Be sure to stay engaged with fans, especially VIPs. Ask how their day was, what they're doing today, what interesting happened, even ask for pictures. This is what will keep the fans coming back. So it's essentially truly trying to cultivate or create a connection with these people, like, on a daily basis. Like, that's crazy. Okay. So yeah, essentially the purpose was to lure them to pay for locked photo or video, or induce them or tempt them to tip the model. Which, if you're like mass sending it, then you're just gonna kind of, it's almost like, I would think, a form of like fishing. You're just like putting it out there, seeing what comes back. And if you are in fact able to mass send it, then it would be like a somewhat quick process. And then you would just wait and see who responded or paid, I would think. So it's almost, yeah, like putting the line out there of fishing, go fish, basically. There's thousands and thousands of fans. Exact same message intended to deceive the fan. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's a bit of repetition here, no? Defendant's greed knows no bounds. Okay, yeah, it's repetitive a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so it's fraudulent, insidious. Yep, okay. Oh, is this because there's two? I don't know. Oh shit. Okay, so according to this, they would the defendants would take 30%. What I heard was 25. 30 is crazy. Okay. Okay. But essentially, based on what this is saying, is that they would do pretty much everything for them. It says, in turn, defendants likewise also defraud the models, who the defendants sexually exploit through time-tested methods of coercion, control, humiliation, and abuse. Okay. Abuse? What kind of abuse? So basically, it sounds like an allegation that this is not even so much about financial. It seems like it's at least alluding to it being a little bit more insidious than just a financial, like, sketchy money fraud thing. Could be much deeper than that. What kind of abuse? We don't know, but I definitely want to keep following this and see how dark this can go, which is kind of scary. Hopefully, it makes me feel bad. Hopefully nothing too bad, even though if stuff is true and it was fraud, obviously fraud's bad, but I hope it's not like anything much worse than that. I don't know. Hopefully you know what I mean, but it sounds very dark. In addition to lying and stealing from fans who visited the website to interact with the defendant's roster of models and exploiting the models themselves, they falsely classified the employees as independent contractors, but they were actually full-time employees subject to defendant's complete direction and control. Defendant subjects, so they were not allowed to work for anybody else. They were required to routinely work for the defendants in excess of 8 hours per day, and often in excess of 12 hours per day. If this is your full-time job, you will be disciplined if you're not active on your account. Oh, okay. On your account. So, if that is true, then that kind of would circle back to my question saying, I wonder if you're just kind of multiple, is that based on and assuming that this is true, this is alleged, it would then seem like the employees would be allotted, whether it's an account or several accounts, that they would be responsible to run that account or accounts. So, which would maybe lead them to creating, whether it's like they actually create a genuine connection with those people, or maybe they had to read these kinds of, uncomfortable messages or whatever. I wonder how that could potentially affect their mental health as well. Could be a lot, especially if you're not getting, sex workers, like, if they were to do that for themselves on their own behalf, like, they are getting the profit from that. Some people, maybe it wouldn't affect them, some maybe, and some do it for the, in their mind, the greater good. You're going to get a lot of income from it, but if you are not, and I don't know, that would weigh heavy on me, and it would just be like, is it worth it? I don't know. I feel bad if this is, I don't know, I just feel bad. Sounds not good. You will not be disciplined for not attending weekly one-on-one meetings. Oh my god, can you imagine? A weekly one-on-one meeting with your manager. Oh, that sounds like a nightmare. Even a once a year kind of like thing is more than enough. God damn. You will be disciplined for not speaking to defendants' models in the manner speaking to or for, in a manner prescribed by the defendants. They should never feel like they have to retrain you on who they are, and how they like. Okay, so the models should never have to retrain you on who they are and how they like to talk. So you need to like basically learn how they operate, or whatever, as them. Never acting you to. I don't know, dude. Okay. Employees are required to seek approval from defendants for their communications to the model prior to sending these communications to the model. Okay. You will be disciplined for not speaking to other team members in the manner prescribed by the... Wow, just disciplining for everything, right? Sounds like a pretty... Well, I mean, if I'm assuming this is true, again, technically this sounds like fraud. So, in a way, it does make sense that you have to, do it on the down low, be very careful, run things off with a fine-tooth comb. However, if you're going to do that shit, you got to pay your people. Because if it's true and they were not even making minimum wage, you're asking way too much, dude. Required to work in excess of 6 days per week? What? So basically got to work 7 days a week? Or at least 6? We cannot guarantee a day off. Fuck you. Oh my god. Really? You're required to achieve a daily minimum in sales for each model. I wonder if they got or it sounds like they didn't even get minimum wage, but they should have given them a cut as well. And these employees are actually doing them. None of this is true, but they should have at least given them a cut. Required to work and respond to models even on days off. You mean their potential 1 day off a week? Because defendants refuse to apprise models of days off taken by the employees. Do not mention anything about taking days off in your accounts to your models. Work constantly. Peak hours. Make sure that was crazy. I always wondered, someone like Tana Mongeau, for example, she's got 8-9 million followers on TikTok, and if she had this Onlyfans account, I was like, how can you find the time to just kind of sit there and do all this messaging or whatever? And now since this has come out, it's kind of starting to add up. It says, make sure messages getting cleared during high activity hours, 9 to 11, 10 to 2. Most important hours to be selling in the messages. Upsell. Shouldn't be any time when you stop activity midday. So basically what? Work 24 hours a day? Oh my god. Constantly reminded by defendants that their performance of their job duties were being monitored at all times. Remember that we are consistently checking everyone's accounts. Required to respond to messages from fans at all hours of the day's night. I've had 3 different influencers in the last week mention their accounts are being answered only once a day in messages. This is unacceptable. It's bitch. Do it your own damn self. I can't. I don't know. I already want to quit, and I don't even work here. I have so much empathy, because I was like, if this is my job, I want to quit. I want to put in my 2 weeks notice. I don't even work there. What the fuck? I'm required to organize digital information according to the defendant's strict instructions, and given mock model final warning to place all information about your models into a folder, updated with things they ask you to do specifically on their account. Informed that they could not message other employees or models outside of a group chat. You're not allowed to text outside of it. Required to respond to offensive messages from fans in a manner prescribed by the defendants and other employees. And it says, if there are ever an instance in which fan is speaking in a way that is offensive or bashing your model, that the only response that is acceptable is not responding at all. The best response is no response, as they say. Follow defendants' internal processes. Required to use their personal cell phones and laptops for work. That's gonna bite them in the ass. Idiots. It would have been smarter if they had their own designated things like that for work, because if it's on their own personal thing and they had access like from there, then you get things like this where they were able to take screenshots of it or whatever. So that is going to bite them in the ass, in my opinion. Required to use them for work, including message without reimbursement for this business expense. Keep notifications on personal cell phones on at all times. So if this is in fact true, you got a message on your personal phone or laptop all hours of the day, how the hell would you have any kind of life? And then I'm sure your notifications or your sound's going to be like popping off. So like, how would you go to dinner with your friends or something? Your phone's going to be buzzing up a storm. What are your friends going to say? Who's that? Like, oh, you know, it's just Onlyfans and oh my god, this is so weird. Then make sure, have your change WhatsApp messaging. I'm already annoyed and I don't even work there. Required to post on defendants' models' accounts in manner. Yep. Okay, I think this is getting a little like, okay. So far it's just like kind of just annoying things, but not discipline. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of stuff where it's like, it's annoying, but I'm more interested in the illegal. If that makes sense. Because if the issue was just being annoying, everyone's employer would be, in jail. So I'm trying to focus on, like, the illegals. Interesting stuff. Okay. I think the non-compete agreement is generally, at least I've heard of it before. I'm not sure of it, but I mean, if you were paid properly, you probably wouldn't want to non-compete, but let's see. It says they classify them as, okay, so maybe this is interesting, like less than minimum wage. Okay. They made them classify themselves as independent contractors, pay them less than minimum wage, and deprive them of overtime compensation. So they admitted that they were full-time employees and misclassified them as independent contractors. They routinely work hours in excess of 8 hours per day and often in excess of 12 hours per day and or 40 hours per week. However, because employees worked so many hours, they were paid so little in commissions, they often did not make minimum wage and were accordingly entitled to overtime, which defendants failed to pay. Moreover, although the defendants purported to pay the employees and other situated employees on commission, the defendants refused to pay the employees with the written contract setting forth the methods by which their commissions were computed or paid. This total lack of a signed contract allowed the defendants to constantly change the pay structure of their account managers and senior account managers, and because basically the plaintiffs and similarly situated employees were kept in the dark, defendants could underpay them with immunity. Defendants also utterly refused to provide the employees with any type of wage statement whatsoever, let alone compliant wage statement. So employees could determine whether their pay was accurate and like basically I guess for commission. Otherwise, if it was like an hourly thing, if you keep track. But if it was commission, you would probably want to know whether you were getting paid correctly. And often they were late making commission payments entirely. Despicably, when employees complained to the defendants and questioned their meager paychecks, the defendants gaslit them, informing them that they were killing it or crushing it, and promising it that if they only worked harder, they can make more money to compensate for a defendant's unrelating wage theft. Oh, work harder for... Oh my gosh. Wow. I can't even. Okay. Despite the merciless and exhausting work hours, the employees were hardly making ends meet. And then the employees raised concerns about wage theft, fraud, misclassifications, illegal attempts to force their employees to sign unconscionable contracts. So what the employees had said, I work about 90 to 100 hours per week, less than minimum wage. And when she brought that to the attention of the defendants, they did absolutely nothing to assuage her concerns. Okay. She messaged the defendant, $500 was missing from my paycheck. Let's see, she said, I don't really trust the pay system at this moment. I want a clear breakdown. Models who work for defendants confirm similar experience with the defendants intentionally confusing accounting practices designed to steal money from both models and employees. Oh. So they're alleging that they're trying to basically they steal them from everybody up in here, according to them anyways. They're saying that from models and employees. It said, I was really confusing. I tried to do the math on my own. Had no idea if I was getting paid the right amount. It was really hard to get a hold of the accounting person, and they weren't emailing me back, responding a couple of days after, and the initial email they sent me was even working. And that's coming from a model or influencer. April 23rd, 2021, despite fears of retaliation, she explained to the employee, a former employee explained to defendants she was mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted, and again raised her concerns of wage theft and other illegal conduct directly to the defendants. And she said, Dear Tara, Nikki, and Darlene, I want you to know that I value my employment here at Unruly. However, there are a few things that have been on my mind as of late. I've been a bit hesitant to speak up, as I didn't want my job to be in jeopardy. I'm hoping that this email will resolve the issues I bring forward, and in turn change the way in which the company operates, as well as treat me and other account managers in a more respectful and legal way. First, I don't believe that calling us independent contractors is correct. Instead, I believe we are employees, especially as Unruly directs almost every single way that we are to do our jobs, and we've been told several times that this is our full-time job. It's important to me that Unruly makes this change immediately, as I believe the company and I should both be paying proper taxes to the state of California and should not be saying we are independent contractors when we are actually employees. Second, I wanted to bring up the issue of Unruly's underpayment of me and other account managers. As you know, me and the other account managers work 12 to 15 hours per day minimum for the company, and we regularly work well past midnight, which Unruly encourages us to do. I know there have been some employees that worked until 6 a.m. We are only allowed one day off per week. And even then, as you have specifically told us, this isn't guaranteed, especially because the models whose accounts we are working on aren't told about our days off. And Unruly expects us to work and respond to them if they reach out on that day. There have been several weeks this year that I still haven't had a day off because a model has requested something on my day off, or there has been a holiday that we're supposed to help plan content or collaborations for. Many times, me and other account managers work more than 7 days in a row. The mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion is hard to deal with because even though I'm working these truly exhausting hours and I think I'm actually an employee, I don't even make minimum wage in some pay periods. I believe this is true of other account managers as well. And even though I'm paid on commission, because I don't make minimum wage oftentimes, I think that the company has illegally failed to pay me and other account managers money to account for overtime hours. Going forward, I would like Unruly to pay me and other account managers for the overtime hours that we work. Because our commission plans change repeatedly and because you don't give me and other account managers wage statements, which I don't think is legal, it is really difficult to understand whether my paychecks are correct. I've spent hours and hours going back and back trying to run the calculations, and even after all that time, I still don't think that I've been paid correctly, but I can't figure out precisely by how much because I don't understand how Unruly is paying me. Fourth, as you know, October 2020, you asked me to sign something called a COVID-19 liability release waiver. I'm not a lawyer and I can't say that I understand what I signed, but the more I think about my employment at Unruly and I reread and try my best to understand this document, I have realized that I don't really think that document was fair at all. For example, it seems that this waiver is asking me to indemnify and not hold Unruly responsible if I became infected with COVID while going to the company's property located at 622 South Sycamore. Okay, but you are the ones that required me to go to this property to carry out my work duties for Unruly. It doesn't seem right that Unruly should be able to say it is not responsible for work injuries when it is requiring me to do something risky as part of my duties, which is fair. Also in the same document, you're saying that you gave me good and valuable consideration. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't remember receiving anything for signing this document. The other thing that really bothered me as I was rereading this document is that you were saying that if I somehow break the agreement, I would have to pay you $5 million. I know Unruly makes millions of dollars each year, but me and my other account managers don't even make minimum wage many times in some months. We have trouble making ends meet. $5 million seems like a huge Side note, that to me, if essentially the employee is running, whether it's like one model or influencer's account or several, that to me kind of signifies that that's approximately like what they account for in terms of the income that comes to them. Assuming that any of this is real or correct. This is just what my mind is kind of coming up to, which is why that they would ask for that, as in like that is the amount of money I am losing by you leaving the company. At least that's what I would think. But anyways, back to reading this. $5 million seems like a huge amount of money, and it seems like it is meant to scare us and penalize us if we don't mistakenly follow this agreement. Lastly, I do want to bring up my concerns that Unruly is asking me to pretend that we're the models who the fans pay to chat with. However, as time has passed, the more that I feel uncomfortable with what I have come to believe is Unruly's fraudulent deception of these fans. Some of these fans send extremely personal information, including photos of their children. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's not like a creepy photo of their children, but like, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. To each their own. Information about their marriages, deaths in the family, sometimes suicidal ideations and attempts, stalkers, cringeworthy confessions, and their sometimes intense and obscure sexual likes and dislikes, all because they believe that I'm actually the model who they're actively paying to talk to. I have even had several fans question and ask me, aka the model, if it's really who they're talking to, in which case the company has instructed me to lie and reassure them I'm truly the model. I doubt that these fans would communicate their personal private information to me or any of the other account managers, let alone pay for various services from the models, if they knew that they were really communicating with us account managers and not the model. Tara, Nikki, Darlene, I hope you know this was a really difficult message for you to send me, and I hope you take that into consideration. I also hope that you agree that account managers such as myself should be treated better and given proper wages. I look forward to hearing from you and like to know how we can move forward with what I have stated. And in response, they have doubled down, specifically rather than rectify their widespread and shocking illegal conduct. Okay, let's take a little break here. I'm getting tired of talking. Let's see. I don't know. We've been at it for an hour and 18 minutes. I'm just trying to bait here. Okay, so basically they doubled down. And I guess they fired them. I don't know. I guess let's just mostly focus on what the allegations are. Let's try to speed through. This is kind of dragging on a little bit. Defendants, sign the defendants Sign what document? Okay. I'm assuming it's an NDA of sorts or something. Okay. Okay, so, okay, sent a document called commission structure. Okay, so they kept sending them a document about commission pay structure, and they were desperate for the employees to sign this document. Why desperate? They knew the scope and severity of their unlawful conduct duplicitously reaped hundreds of millions of dollars from unwitting fans and stolen hundreds of millions from their own. Oh, wow, that's a big claim. From employees who defendant Nick Nijad repeatedly informed were family and her written messages to them. So in a sloppy and despicable attempt to deceive their employees, they sent them this commission structure account management document. And in this document, they asked them to disavow that their employees, affirm that they're independent contractors, and turn to an unconscionable and illegal arbitration provision waiving their right to a trial by jury, pay their own business expenses, indemnify the defendants for any third-party claim or action arising out of the fraudulent misrepresentations that defendants were forcing them to make to unwitting fans. Oh, shit. You know what? Could be wrong, it's just my opinion. It seems like maybe there's a little bit of a more insidious reasoning behind them asking these people to be independent contractors. Actually, you know what? I think my opinion anyway, that's what's going on. I'll give you an example. Here in the province in Canada where I live, if you're driving, actually, even if you're driving on your way to work and you're in a car accident, they consider like it's an on-the-job, a work-safe thing. I don't know. So essentially, if you do something in a work capacity or commit a crime under a work capacity, of course, you yourself will still be held liable, but they can also bring the company into liability. While I know that this is an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation, it could be a way for them to kind of distance or maybe pretend they didn't. Oh, that's why. Okay. Which could explain maybe they would ask them to use their own, like, phone or laptop or whatever, so they could maybe, who knows, they could try to say that they didn't know that they were doing that or something like that. And especially that they would make them say, like, if there ever was a legal thing that came up, that they indemnify for any third-party claim or action. Yeah, I don't know. Right to a trial. So I think that's kind of what it is. It's a method of kind of removing themselves from their. And I guess according to this, there's been 9 lawsuits that have come up so far, and maybe they have a feeling that, or they're worried that more will come up. Okay. Okay, so say they refused to sign this agreement, which is weird. Okay, so then they got fired. Okay, so then they wrote a response, and okay, so that's kind of where we're at now. Oh, what was that? Then they're like, I don't understand why you're firing me. Okay. Alright. Okay, so first cause of action. So I think we kind of okay. So I don't know if it's worth it to dive much deeper. I think we kind of ran because I think I don't want to spend too much time on this, which we're already at an hour and a half almost. But essentially we kind of gotten an idea on what the allegations that these ex-employees have made against, these people. So as time goes on, we can continue to review and dive deeper. But yeah, it's not looking good. But now at least we have at least somewhat of an idea of how this company was operating. And according to these allegations, they were not paying their employees at all. And they are alleging that they steal from both the employees as well as their clients or models, influencers, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So these plaintiffs are alleging just deceptive all around. And I want to continue to kind of look into it. But now we have kind of that basis. And we know that Tana, at least at some point, was working with and had her own business within it. To what extent, we still want to delve deep in research. There are some I found multiple videos of Tana Mongeau talking about her experience owning an Onlyfans agency within them, Tana's Angels, and either trying to recruit or just discussing it. I'm going to try to compile them together. Maybe we can try to delve deep into that as well. But I think for now it's a wrap on this video. I'm getting tired of talking. You're probably getting tired of listening as well. But yeah, tell me what you thought. What are your thoughts so far? Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Or do you care? Do you not care? I don't know. Just let me know what you're thinking. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one. And yeah. Talk later, guys. Have a good day or evening or whatever it is, wherever you are. Take care. Bye, guys.